The true system of numerology is defined and explained in Chapter 5, and this is only a small preview of the magic of numbers as they relate to your health only, involving your day of birth, rather than Chapter 5's full explanation of the numbers of your date of birth and the numerological revelations of your name. You are a number 1 if you were born on the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th day of any month. You are a number 2 if you were born on the 2nd, 11th, 20th, or 29th day of any month. You are a number 3 if you were born on the 3rd, 12th, 21st, or 30th of any month. You are a number 4 if you were born on the 4th, 13th, 22nd, or 31st day of any month. You are a number 5 if you were born on the 5th, 14th, or 23rd day of any month. You are a number 6 if you were born on the 6th, 15th, or 24th day of any month. You are a number 7 if you were born on the 7th, 16th, or 25th day of any month. You are a number 8 if you were born on the 8th, 17th, or 26th day of any month. You are a number 9 if you were born on the 9th, 18th, or 27th day of any month. The number 1. The colors that harmonize with the number 1 vibration are all shades of sunny or golden yellow, bright orange, and royal purple. Number 1 people will notice a subtle, beneficial change in their general well-being and can increase their positive essence by wearing topaz or amber next to the skin. The 1 vibration brings a tendency to suffer from heart problems in some form, such as palpitation or irregular circulation, lower back pain, accidents to the spine, sometimes high blood pressure, and astigmatism, and should have their eyes tested frequently. Their physical weaknesses will be intensified by negative emotions and diluted or even negated by positive emotions, forgiveness, and a cheerful attitude. Sometimes sexual disorders may surface, such as frigidity in women and impotency in men. But these problems are temporary and can be reversed by the right mental control. 1 people can bring on illness through their exaggerated sense of pride and ego. When they learn to become more tolerant, more flexible, they'll see a marked improvement in the general health. October, November, and December of every year are the months when most ill health symptoms, mental or physical, sickness or accident, will strike the number 1 person, brought on by negative emotional attitudes, depression, stress, or overwork. 1 people should practice remaining serene each year as these months approach. After a while, practice makes perfect, and they'll be able to greatly dilute or even negate the tendency toward illness or accident at these times. The practice of serenity should begin at least a month before each month just given. The foods which should be eaten frequently by 1 person are raisins, barley bread, barley, oranges, lemons, and dates. The principal herbs which will go a very long way toward the eventual achievement of permanent good health for a number 1 person are saffron, chamomile, eyebright, St. John's wort, cloves, nutmeg, sorrel, borage, gentian root, lavender, bay leaves, thyme, musk vervain, and myrrh. When these herbs are taken in a liquid form by a person born on the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th day of any month, any year, they act as nature's tranquilizer and tonic. A remarkable and swift change will be noticed when 3 or 4 teaspoons are taken to relieve anxiety, tension, depression, anger, or other mental or emotional disturbances. The liquid should be taken, 1 tablespoon, twice a week on a regular basis, and more when necessary under stress. How can you obtain your herbs in liquid form? My friends at the Herb Products Company in California, who have been in the homeopathic business for more than a quarter of a century, will make up the herbal liquid for you. They have a list of all the herbs for each number, from 1 through 9, so all you need do is call them and give them your number, in this case number 1, and they'll blend the magic for you. They'll tell you over the phone the cost, minimal, of the size bottle you want. Then you send a check in that amount, and they'll mail your herbal tonic. The telephone numbers are 213-877-3104 or 818-984-3141. The address is John W. Duvall, Jr., Herb Products Co., 11012 Magnolia Boulevard, North Hollywood, California, 91601. The number 2. The colors that harmonize with the number 2 vibration are light green, pale yellow, silver, violet, and lavender. Number 2 people will observe a subtle beneficial change in their general well-being and can increase their positive essence by wearing emeralds, pearls, or moonstones next to the skin. The 2 vibration brings a tendency to suffer from stomach problems and digestive disorders. They're susceptible to pediomain poisoning and should be careful of the foods they eat and the water they drink in a foreign country. Gastric troubles and internal growths, usually benign, are possibilities. The breasts and chest area are vulnerable to problems. Most complaints of 2 people are lingering and chronic, caused by their refusal to let go of anxiety. And when they learn to do this, recuperation will be much swifter. January, February, and July of every year are the months when most ill health symptoms, mental or physical, sickness or accident, will strike the number 2 person, brought on by negative emotional attitudes, depression, tension, anxiety, or overwork. 2 people should practice remaining serene each year as these months approach. After a while, practice makes perfect, and they'll be able to greatly dilute or even negate the tendency toward illness or accident at these times. The practice of serenity should begin at least a month before each month just given. The foods which should be eaten frequently by a 2 person are lettuce, cabbages, turnips, cucumber, melon. The principal herbs which go a very long way toward the eventual achievement of permanent good health for a number 2 person are chicory, endive, rapeseed, colewort, moonwort, linseed, water plantain, and ash of willow. When these herbs are taken in liquid form by a person born on the 2nd, 11th, 20th, or 29th day of any month, any year, they act as nature's tranquilizer and tonic. A remarkable and swift change is noticed when 3 or 4 tablespoons are taken to relieve anxiety, stress, depression, anger, or other mental or emotional disturbances. The liquid should be taken, 1 tablespoon, twice a week on a regular basis, and more if necessary under tension. The way to obtain the herbal liquid for number 2 people is explained at the end of the number 1 analysis. The number 3. The colors that harmonize with the number 3 vibration are all autumn colors such as yellow and burnt orange, rust, also turquoise and sky blue. 3 people often share a love of purple with the number 1 people. Number 3 people will notice a subtle beneficial change in their general well-being and can increase their positive essence by wearing turquoise next to the skin. The 3 vibration brings a tendency to suffer from overstrain of the nervous system, usually brought on by overwork and lack of sleep. They're inclined to have severe attacks of sciatica and neuritis, various forms of skin troubles, and are vulnerable to accidents to the hips. There may be complaints concerned with the liver and aches in the thigh or hip area. December, February, June, and September of every year are the months when most ill health symptoms, mental or physical, sickness or accident, will strike the number 3 person, brought on by negative emotional attitudes, depression, stress, or overwork. 3 people should practice remaining serene each year as these months approach. After a while, practice makes perfect, and they'll be able to greatly dilute or even negate the tendency toward illness or accident at these times. The practice of serenity should begin at least a month before each month just given. The foods which should be eaten frequently by a number 3 person are beets, bilberries, asparagus, cherries, barberries, strawberries, apples, mulberries, peaches, olives, rhubarb, gooseberries, pomegranates, endive, pineapples, grapes, almonds, figs, hazelnuts, and wheat and all wheat products. The herbs which will go a very long way toward the achievement of permanent good health for a number 3 person are borage, dandelion, ewerwort, lungwort, sage, mint, saffron, nutmeg, cloves, sweet marjoram, and St. John's wort. When these herbs are taken in liquid form by a person born on the 3rd, 12th, 21st, or 30th of any month, any year, they act as nature's tranquilizer and tonic. A remarkable and swift change is noticed when 3 or 4 teaspoons are taken to relieve anxiety, tension, depression, anger, or other mental or emotional disturbances. The liquid should be taken 1 tablespoon twice a week on a regular basis and more if necessary under stress. The way to obtain the herbal liquid for number 3 people is given at the end of the number 1 analysis. The number 4. The colors that harmonize with the number 4 vibration are electric blue and cobalt blue, silver gray, and ocean green. Number 4 people will notice a subtle beneficial change in their general well-being and can increase their positive essence by wearing sapphire, quartz, or a stone containing a blend of azurite and malachite next to the skin. The 4 vibration brings a tendency to suffer from mysterious ailments difficult to diagnose, mental disorders, melancholia, anemia, poor circulation, pains in the head and back, accidents from electricity or lightning, and injuries to the lower legs. 4 people can derive great benefits from electrical treatment of all kinds, hypnosis, and mental suggestion. They are strongly warned to avoid taking or being given drugs. And although everyone would be healthier being a vegetarian, number 4 people in particular will become chronically ill unless they avoid highly seasoned foods and all forms of red meat. Their physical weaknesses will be intensified by negative emotions and diluted or even negated by positive emotions, a calm spirit, and patience. There is a possibility of problems with the reproductive organs, occasional impotence in men, and frigidity in women. But the latter can be banished with mental concentration and the realization that the complaint is psychological, not physical. January, February, July, August, and September of every year are the months when most ill health symptoms, mental or physical, sickness or accident, will strike the number 4 person, brought on by negative emotional attitudes, depression, stress, or overwork. 4 people should practice remaining serene each year as these months approach. After a while, practice makes perfect, and they'll be able to greatly dilute or even negate the tendency toward illness or accident at these times. The practice of serenity should begin at least a month before each month just given. The foods which should be eaten frequently by a 4 person is spinach. The principal herbs which go a very long way toward the eventual achievement of permanent good health for a 4 person are sage, pilewort, wintergreen, medlars, Iceland moss, and Solomon's seal. When these herbs are taken in liquid form by a person born on the 4th, 13th, 22nd, or 31st day of any month, any year, they act as nature's tranquilizer and tonic. A remarkable and swift change is noticed when 3 or 4 tablespoons are taken to relieve anxiety, stress, depression, anger, or other mental or emotional disturbances. The liquid should be taken 1 tablespoon twice a week on a regular basis, and more if necessary under tension. The way to obtain the herbal liquid is explained at the end of the number 1 analysis. The number 5. Just as 5 people can usually harmonize with people born under all kinds of numbers, they can normally wear all colors. But those which harmonize best with the number 5 aura are pearl gray, light green, and silver. They should not wear dark colors, even when they are given as the colors of their sun signs. Number 5 people will notice a subtle beneficial change in their general well-being and can increase their positive essence by wearing aquamarine gems, platinum, or silver next to the skin. The 5 vibration brings a tendency to attempt too much mentally, to deplete the energies, which can lead to nervous breakdowns. 5 people live too much on their nerves and may suffer from insomnia, twitching in the face or eyes, and, quote, phantom pains in the shoulders, arms, and hands. Even under minor mental tension, they can become irritable and nervous. They're advised to practice grace under pressure. Try to remain calm and patient when events around them are stressful. Sleep and rest and quiet surroundings will have a noticeable healing effect. June, September, and December of every year are the months when most ill health symptoms, mental or physical, sickness or accident, will strike the number 5 person, brought on by negative emotional attitudes, depression, stress, or overwork. 5 people should practice remaining serene each year as these months approach. After a while, in this way, they'll be able to greatly dilute or even negate the tendency toward illness or accident at these times. The practice of serenity should begin at least a month before each month given. The foods which should be eaten frequently by a 5-person are carrots, parsnips, sea kale, oatmeal, oatmeal breads, parsley, and nuts of all kinds, especially hazelnuts and walnuts. The principal herbs which will go a very long way toward the eventual achievement of permanent good health for a 5-person are sweet marjoram, champignons, caraway seeds, and thyme. When these herbs are taken in liquid form by a person born on the 5th, 14th, or 23rd day of any month, any year, they act as nature's tranquilizer and tonic. A remarkable and swift change is noticed when 3 or 4 teaspoons are taken to relieve anxiety, stress, depression, anger, or other mental or emotional disturbances. The liquid should be taken 1 tablespoon twice a week on a regular basis, and more if necessary under tension. The way to obtain the herbal liquid for number 5 people is explained at the end of the number 1 analysis. The number 6. The colors that harmonize with the number 6 vibration are the pastel shades of every color, especially pink and blue. Sometimes earth tones such as chocolate brown and deep green, but these are secondary to the pastels. Number 6 people will observe a subtle beneficial change in their general well-being and can increase their positive essence by wearing opals next to the skin, and sometimes copper. The 6th vibration brings a tendency to suffer from infections of the throat, nose, and upper part of the lungs, also the chest and breast area. Women influenced by the 6 are prone to breast problems and sometimes milk fever in childbirth. There are often mild heart complaints, which lead to irregular circulation of the blood. The bladder and kidneys are vulnerable, and 6 people should avoid foods with sugar. As a general rule, 6 people have a strong, robust constitution when they either live in the country or visit frequently a place where they can have plenty of fresh air and exercise. If they live in the city, they should make a serious effort to spend frequent weekends and vacations in the country. May, October, and November of every year are the months when most ill health symptoms, mental or physical, sickness or accident, will strike the number 6 person, brought on by negative emotional attitudes, depression, anxiety, or overwork. 6 people should practice remaining serene each year as these months approach. After a while, practice makes perfect, and they'll be able to greatly dilute or even negate the tendency toward illness or accident at these times. The practice of serenity should begin at least a month before each month just given. The foods which should be eaten frequently by a 6 person are all kinds of beans, parsnips, spinach, melons, apples, peaches, apricots, figs, walnuts, and almonds, especially almonds. The principal herbs which will go a very long way toward the eventual achievement of permanent good health for a number 6 person are mint, marrows, motherwort, pomegranates, juice of maidenhair, fern, daffodils, wild thyme, musk, violets, vervain, and rose leaves. Isn't that a lovely combination? Lucky 6 people. When these herbs are taken in liquid form by a person born on the 6th, 15th, or 24th day of any month, any year, they act as nature's tranquilizer and tonic. A remarkable and swift change is noticed when 3 or 4 teaspoons are taken to relieve anxiety, stress, depression, anger, or other mental or emotional disturbances. The liquid should be taken 1 tablespoon twice a week on a regular basis, and more if necessary under stress or tension. The way to obtain the herbal liquid for number 6 people is explained at the end of the number 1 analysis. The number 7. The colors that harmonize with the number 7 vibration are sea green, light yellow, aqua, pink, and white. 7 people should avoid wearing black or dark colors, even when these are indicated by the sun sign. Number 7 people will observe a subtle beneficial change in their general well-being and can increase their positive essence by wearing an amethyst or emerald next to the skin. Water lilies and lotus blossoms will curiously lift their spirits when the heart is sad, lonely, or longing. The number 7 brings a tendency to suffer from anxiety. These people are more easily affected by worry, annoyance, and frustration than others. As long as their personal and business affairs are running smoothly, they're capable of producing amazing amounts of work, at home or in the office. But when they become worried by circumstances around them or the behavior of other people, they're inclined to imagine that things are worse than they are and fall into melancholy, which results in extreme physical fatigue. Unusually susceptible to their surroundings, they soak up negative situations and attitudes like a sponge. When they feel they're genuinely needed and appreciated, 7 people will cheerfully take on any responsibility and are unusually conscientious in carrying out their work. It's difficult for them to realize that they're not as strong physically as they are mentally. Often the body is frail, and the 7 person attempts too much for his or her own strength, a major cause of all their health problems. They're inclined to have extremely delicate skin, sensitive to the sun and friction, perhaps some peculiarity regarding perspiration, and eating things that disagree with the digestive system frequently results in boils, pimples, and rashes. January, February, July, and August of every year are the months when most ill health symptoms, mental or physical, sickness or accident, will strike the number 7 person, brought on by negative emotional attitudes, depression, tension, anxiety, or overwork. 7 people should practice remaining serene each year as these months approach. After a while, practice makes perfect, and they'll be able to greatly dilute or even negate the tendency toward illness or accident at these times. The practice of serenity should begin at least a month before each month given. The foods which should be eaten frequently by a 7 person are lettuce, cabbage, endive, cucumbers, mushrooms, apples, cranberries, and the juices of all fruits. The principal herbs which will go a very long way toward the eventual achievement of permanent good health for a 7 person are chicory, colewort, linseed, seps, and sorrel. When these herbs are taken in liquid form by a person born on the 7th, 16th, or 25th day of any month in any year, they act as nature's tranquilizer and tonic. A remarkable and swift change is noticed when 3 or 4 tablespoons are taken to relieve anxiety, stress, depression, anger, or other mental or emotional disturbances. The liquid should be taken 1 tablespoon twice a week on a regular basis, and more if necessary under tension and stress. The way to obtain the herbal liquid for number 7 people is explained at the end of the number 1 analysis. The number 8. The colors that harmonize with the number 8 vibration are indigo, all shades of brown, dark green, and navy blue. Number 8 people will observe a subtle and beneficial change in their general well-being and can increase their positive essence by wearing a diamond or onyx next to the skin. 8 people are more liable than others to suffer from troubles with the liver, bile, intestines, and excretory part of the system. They have a tendency to develop migraine headaches, diseases of the blood, rheumatism, and auto-poisoning. They are advised to avoid meat of all kinds, since they are especially allergic to animal food. January, February, July, and December of every year are the months when most ill health symptoms, mental or physical, sickness or accident, will strike the number 8 person, brought on by negative emotional attitudes, depression, tension, anxiety, or overwork. Spells of deep depression are more common with 8 people than with those influenced by any other number. 8 people should practice remaining serene each year as these months approach. After a while, practice makes perfect, and they'll be able to greatly dilute or even negate the tendency toward illness or accident at these times. The foods which should be eaten frequently by an 8 person are spinach, carrots and wild carrots, broccoli and celery. The principal herbs which will go a very long way toward the eventual achievement of permanent good health for a number 8 person are wintergreen, angelica, sage, plantain, pileworth, ragwort, shepherd's purse, Solomon's seal, vervain, elder flowers, gravel root, and mandrake root. When these herbs are taken in liquid form by a person born on the 8th, 17th, or 26th day of any month, any year, they act as nature's tranquilizer and tonic. A remarkable and swift change is noticed when 3 or 4 teaspoons are taken to relieve anxiety, stress, depression, anger, or other mental or emotional disturbances. The liquid should be taken 1 tablespoon twice a week on a regular basis, and more if necessary under tension or stress. The way to obtain the herbal liquid for number 8 people is explained at the end of the number 1 analysis. The number 9. The colors that harmonize with the number 9 vibration are crimson or ruby red, with no orange tones, true blue, and pure white. Number 9 people will observe a subtle beneficial change in their general well-being and can increase their positive essence by wearing a ruby next to the skin. The 9 vibration brings a strong tendency to suffer from headaches, extremely high fevers, illnesses that strike suddenly, are fulminating and usually disappear as quickly as they appeared. It is very rare for a number 9 person to develop an illness that lingers or is chronic, and should this occur, it's most important to have such sickness correctly diagnosed, since it's opposed to the very nature of the 9 essence. The recuperative powers are vital and swift. 9 people seldom avoid chicken pox, smallpox, scarlet fever, or scarlentia, and such. 9 people should be careful not to take chances during sports or other activities, since they're prone to accidents to the head, cuts, and burns. There may be more than the average tooth problems and frequent trips to the dentist, which they hate. 9 people are especially warned to avoid rich foods, alcoholic drinks, and wines of all kinds. February, April, May, October, and November of every year are the months when most ill health symptoms, mental or physical, sickness or accident, will strike the number 9 person, brought on by negative emotional attitudes, depression, tension, anxiety, or overwork. 9 people should practice remaining serene each year as these months approach. After a while, practice makes perfect, and they'll be able to greatly dilute or even negate the tendency toward illness or accident at these times. The foods which should be eaten frequently by a 9 person are onions, garlic, and rhubarb, horseradish and tomatoes, unless there's an allergy to these initiating from some planetary aspect in the horoscope. The principal herbs which will go a very long way toward the eventual achievement of permanent good health for a number 9 person are mustard seed, wormwood, betony, spearwort, white hellebore, ginger, pepper, broom, rape, madder, hops, danewort, and juice of nettles. When these herbs are taken in liquid form by a person born on the 9th, 18th, or 27th day of any month, any year, they act as nature's tranquilizer and tonic. A remarkable and swift change is noticed when 3 or 4 teaspoons are taken to relieve anxiety, stress, depression, anger, or other mental and emotional disturbances. 1 tablespoon of the liquid should be taken twice a week on a regular basis, and more if necessary under tension or stress. The way to obtain the herbal liquid for number 9 people is explained at the end of the number 1 analysis. You will notice that particular colors and gems were given at the beginning of each single number in the foregoing health analysis. The colors constitute a portion of your aura when it's harmoniously balanced, as related to the day you were born. Another portion of your aura, when it's harmoniously balanced, is composed of the colors of your sun sign. Another portion is composed of the colors of the ascendant or rising sign of your nativity or birth chart. Completing your personal rainbow, your aura, are the colors representing all of your planetary positions at birth, the astrological signs in which the planets and luminaries, which are the sun and the moon, were located when you drew your first breath. However, the predominating auric colors having an effect upon your tranquility and well-being are those colors representing the day you were born, your sun sign, and the ascendant or rising sign of your horoscope. Here are the colors and gems of each of the 12 sun signs. Study them, and then we'll discuss how to use them. Aries. Mars. 9. Ruby or crimson red, true blue and white. Taurus. Venus. 6. Rose pink, all shades of blue, brown, and deep green. Gemini. Mercury. 5. Pearl gray, light green, and silver. Cancer. Moon. 2. Light green, pale yellow, silver, violet, and lavender. Leo. Sun. 1. Sunny yellow, orange, sometimes purple. Virgo. Mercury. 5. Pearl gray and silver, as in Gemini 5, but also forest green and white. Libra. Venus. 6. Rose pink, as in Taurus 6, but also pastel shades of every color, especially light blue. Scorpio. Pluto. 0. Black, blood red, burgundy, wine, and maroon. Sagittarius. Jupiter. 3. Autumn colors such as yellow, bright orange, and rust, also turquoise. Sagittarius sometimes shares the love of purple with Leo. Capricorn. Saturn. 8. Indigo, navy blue, all shades of brown, and dark green. Aquarius. Uranus. 4. electric blue and cobalt blue, silver gray and ocean green. Pisces, Neptune. 7. Emerald green, light yellow, pink, and white. Aries, ruby, Taurus, sapphire, Gemini, aquamarine, Cancer, moonstone and pearls, Leo, topaz, Virgo, green or white jade, Libra, opal, Scorpio, bloodstone, Sagittarius, turquoise, Capricorn, diamond or onyx, Aquarius, mixed azurite or malachite, Pisces, emerald and amethyst. The following chapter, Forgotten Rainbows, will define your aura in more detail. Here, we're concerned only with the colors and gems you can use to benefit your health and general well-being because of their influence over your emotions. How to use your personal colors and gems. For the moment, ignore the numbers just given for each of the 12 sun signs. Now listen again to the first 2 paragraphs of your individual single number health analysis, which tell you how to use the colors and gems that vibrate to the day of your birth. Memorize the colors and gems of the astrological sign, which is your individual sun sign. If you know the ascendant or rising sign of your nativity or horoscope, memorize also the colors and gems of that particular astrological sign, but make sure that your birth chart has been correctly rectified so you can be certain of it. If you're not sure, it's safer to forget your ascendant and use only the colors and gems of your day of birth, given under each single number health analysis, and the colors and gems of your sun sign. The combination or blending of the colors and gems of your day of birth, your sun sign, and your ascendant sign, only if you're absolutely sure of it, will be surprisingly helpful in helping you to achieve the emotional tranquility necessary as a foundation for good health. Some examples. If you're a Leo, born on August 13th, the single number 4 is your birth number. Use the colors and gems given in the single number 4 health analysis and combine them with the colors and gems given for the astrological sign of Leo, which is your sun sign. Then add the colors and gems of the astrological sign of your horoscope's ascendant, assuming you are certain of it. If not, as I said, disregard it. Wear the gems next to your skin and use the colors in your clothing and in your surroundings as much as possible. If you're an Aries, born on March 27th, the single number 9 is your birth number, the day of your birth. Use the colors and gems given in the single number 9 health analysis and combine them with the colors and gems that vibrate to the astrological sign of your horoscope's ascendant, assuming you are certain of it. Notice that the number of your sun sign is 9, the same as the single number 9 of the day of your birth, March 27th. 2 plus 7 equals 9. Therefore, you're under a double 9 influence, and everything stated in the single number 9 health analysis relating to your day of birth is intensified. This is important. Remember that you must not use the number of your sun sign to read any particular single number health analysis, as it will not apply unless it happens to be the same as the single number of your day of birth. The numbers for each sun sign are given only to guide you should you happen to have the double influence of a single number, such as the Aries example in the foregoing paragraph. Some additional examples. If you are a Taurus sun sign born on May 7th, 16th, or April 25th, the single number of the day of your birth is 7. The number of the sun sign of Taurus is given as 6. Do not read the single number 6 health analysis given in this chapter, because it will not apply to you. If you're a Taurus sun sign born on any of the above days equaling the single number 7, read only the single number 7 health analysis, but combine the colors and gems given in the single number 7 health analysis with those given for the Taurus sun sign and those given for the astrological sign of your horoscope's ascendant, if you are certain of it. Otherwise, disregard the ascendant and use only the colors and gems of the single number of your birthday, combined with the colors and gems of your sun sign. Wear the gems next to your skin and use the colors in your clothing and in your surroundings as much as possible. A reminder: in all cases, study the type of illness related to your element, such as fire, air, earth, or water. The parts of the body ruled by your sun sign. Then study the single number health analysis for the day of your birth. And finally, the colors and gems given for your day of birth, your sun sign, and your ascendant, if you know what it is, and combine these. Before leaving the subject of your health, let's consider the disease or the physical, mental, and emotional disharmony called cancer. In 1984, a Los Angeles hospital tried an experiment with a dozen or so children doomed to die from terminal illness, mostly cancer. None were over the age of 12, I've been told, and this is important, as we'll see shortly. The dying youngsters were told to close their eyes tightly, then imagine or visualize a brilliant white light. One of the children, a small boy, was photographed for a television news show while he was imagining. "I see it, I see it, I see it," he cried ecstatically as his eyes were squeezed shut. It moved me, and I'm sure other viewers also, to tears. The boy recovered. Nearly all of the children involved in the white light experiment displayed spontaneous remission of their allegedly terminal illnesses. The important ingredient in this particular group of miracles was the chronological age of the patients, none over 12. The pineal gland is the third eye of mystical teaching. It's been medically discovered that in children under the age of 12, the pineal gland is soft and malleable, like clay. In humans past the age of 12, which are adults, the pineal gland is as hard as a rock, proving what young people secretly believe, that most adults have rocks in their heads. The pineal gland is the seat of spiritual wisdom. Children have imaginary playmates who are actually very real. They see and talk with small fairies and nature spirits. They tell their parents that Uncle Charlie, dead for several years, sat on my bed last night and told me stories. They do these things until they are so repeatedly chastised by adults. You simply must stop lying. Uncle Charlie could not possibly have visited you. He's dead. And there are no such things as druids and fairies and imaginary playmates. Your friend Peggy does not exist, so you must stop talking to her aloud as you do. People will think you are crazy, that their third eyes become hard and impotent, blind to real truth. Sometimes spankings accompany the scoldings. I always wondered, once I decided to dive into the deep waters of astrology, and later explore the caverns and caves of numerology after I'd started to meditate on the astrological symbols of the 12 signs from Aries through Pisces, why people couldn't imitate the marine crab, which is the symbol of the sign Cancer, the crab. When the marine crab loses a claw in some manner, it will swiftly grow a new one. Why not humans? Are lizards and crabs more evolved than we? A lizard can grow a new tail if the original one is cut off or lost in some manner. So now we know that a human body can lose a finger and grow a new finger. Do you believe then that one could also grow a new arm or leg after having lost either? Or perhaps even a new kidney? If your answer is yes, congratulations. You're already an honorary druid, nature spirit, and well on your way to the enchanted world of enlightenment. If your answer is no, I have a second question for you. Why not? One, quote, terminal 2-year-old boy with cancer kept drawing butterflies with a black crayon in St. Raphael's Hospital. A clear picture his doctor Bernie Siegal tried to tell the boy's parents of the despair all around him from concerned and negative thinking parents and relatives. The butterflies were the small child's attempt to believe in tomorrow. The black crayons he always chose revealed that the fearful thoughts of others were overpowering what could have been the kind of miracle so easily manifested by the faith, innocence, and profound wisdom of childhood, a situation which should also be familiar to the readers of this chapter by now. The sad part of it is that the boy's relatives, like most relatives of allegedly, quote, terminally ill, quote, children, are not aware that their genuine concern and non-deliberate negativism is so damaging to the natural healing process. In Dr. Siegal's book, Love, Medicine, and Miracles, published in 1986 by Harper and Row, he tells of his attempt to teach patients how to master meditation and imagery, how to picture their bodies successfully fighting cancer. One of his true stories is about a small boy with a brain tumor. Several of his doctors had given up and had stopped treating him. His family was waiting for him to die. But this boy opened his third eye, as adults seldom do. He began to regularly imagine his cancer cells being bombarded by video game rocket ships. In a short time, the brain tumor and the cancer disappeared. Now Dr. Siegal is one of my medical heroes, along with my own Dr. John Perry of Hollywood, California. Dr. Perry doesn't realize how wonderfully he practices the holistic healing methods. It just comes naturally to him. As he's said to me often, I always treat my patients as complete individuals. They are the priority, not the disease or infection they have, because the very same disease or infection will act in a totally different way with each person. When his patients have a good day, he invariably exclaims with genuine pleasure, "Isn't that just wonderful? You're in the home stretch now." I can personally attest to the rare and unique charisma he possesses in somehow making each patient feel that whatever might be the problem, it isn't all that serious, and even if it is most certainly curable and reversible. It's an attitude, real or feigned, that makes a whole universe of difference. Dr. Perry expertly and professionally employs all modern methods of diagnosis and treatment, all the benefits medicine has to offer, then mixes these with genuine caring and an optimistic sort of knowing that a healing will take place as long as the patient believes it. This is a doctor whose compassion is part of his very nature. In 1968, he became one of the 10 founders of the Western Special Olympics for physically handicapped youngsters, covering 7 states, which in 1972 became California Special Olympics. A large slice of his free time is cheerfully given to this project, which has brought such happiness to these children and has made impressively positive changes in their mental conditions. He loves to play golf. Most doctors do, because golf is one of the most relaxing of pastimes, but he seldom has time to play. He adores traveling, but very rarely has an opportunity to do so. There is always a patient or two who needs him, and he continually cancels his few and far between social engagements to make an urgent house call. Yes, a house call. Some doctors still make them. It's easy to see why this intense Scorpio healer is able to almost will his patients to recover. To him, all illness, including cancer, is an unnatural condition, his personal enemy, and good health a normal and natural state of being, not the other way around, as many medical people see it. Too many physicians become so hypnotized by being around sickness so much, they subconsciously begin to think of it as normal and expected. It's easy to drift into such an attitude, but Dr. John Perry is in no danger of that. His powerful drive and energy is highly contagious. No one can avoid catching it from him. It infects everyone around him. A book that will have a strong influence on your thinking, make the deepest impression on you, and perhaps be responsible for changing your attitude toward cancer is by Dr. Max Gerson, called A Cancer Therapy, 50 Cases. It's still available at most health food stores, or if not, most of them can order it because it's still in print. Nowadays, you could check online, of course. His research was logical and made sense, emphasizing the metaphysical rule that you can't go wrong in anything you do if you follow the natural patterns of nature. Dr. Gerson's methods were simple and basic, as was his theory, and when he put them into practice, they proved themselves time and time again. He was convinced that cancer could not spread and would quickly reverse itself if the body's immune system could be restored. And the way to do this, he believed and repeatedly proved, was to eliminate from the cancer patient's diet all liquids and foods except those heavy in fiber content, like certain cereals and fresh, raw fruits and vegetables, eating these exclusively, along with a substantial intake of several vitamins, chiefly vitamin C and E, D-alpha tocopherol C, not mixed tocopherols, for periods ranging from 90 days to 6 months or so. Most of his patients were cured within the 90-day period. The, quote, terminal ones, instead of eating fresh, raw fruits and vegetables, drank the juices of fresh, raw fruits and vegetables, took the prescribed amount of vitamins, and ate or drank nothing else. It took somewhat longer for them to restore their body's immune system, but the result of reversal of the disease was the same as with the swifter healings. Those in the first group also drank the juices of the fresh fruits and vegetables, as well as eating them raw for their fiber content. Both groups received lots of sunlight, lots of rest and sleep, lots of fresh, pure water, and large doses of confidence and optimism from relatives who believed in Dr. Gerson's treatments. Confidence is highly contagious, and was also a major factor in the visible and rapid improvement in the condition of the patients under Dr. Gerson's care. Although the medical profession at the time shrugged its collective shoulders regarding Dr. Gerson's discoveries, Today, finally, these same physicians are recommending the eating of high fiber content foods for the prevention of cancer. Max Gerson was no health fad nut, which some of his enemies called him behind his back, and some still do. Rather, he was a professional, careful and accredited physician who permanently cured Dr. Albert Schweitzer's wife of tuberculosis after several other doctors had failed to do so. Dr. Gerson possessed the vision and inspired determination of a pioneer in any field, as did vitamin C's proponent, Dr. Linus Pauling, and one of vitamin E's proponents, Dr. Shoup of Canada. Everything I have said about cancer applies to AIDS. I refuse to give it capital letters. AIDS need not kill through paralyzing the body's immune system. Now that does deserve capital letters. AIDS need not kill. When I began to write this chapter, I happened to see a television special about AIDS. Near the close of the program, a man who was diagnosed as suffering from advanced AIDS was interviewed. His doctors told him on camera it was a certainty that he would be dead within a year. He didn't believe them. He truly did not. You could see it in his eyes as he stated firmly that he expected to heal himself and live. I don't know if he was gay or heterosexual or bisexual, and I don't care. I wept for him, not tears of sorrow and compassion, tears of joy. And I couldn't resist saying aloud to his bright, brave, and confident face on the television screen, "Right on, and expect a miracle."